guys, I cannot wait for this episode. It's going to be epic. As you can see, I've got a new set because I found this really sweet spot. If you're Northampton, then you know what I mean. It's a Caribbean Dutch spot, and I'm having this amazing mocktails. We've got so much to nibble on, so I can't wait to show you guys. But my guest is late. She needs to hurry up because the food is gonna get cold, the mocktail is coming. I can't wait to get into the conversation. She's here. Oh my God. I can't believe it's been so long.
Too long.
What? You need a drink.
I should say so too.
Right, okay, your drink is coming. Ooh, I'm gonna sip on mine.
Very nice, thank you.
What? How is it?
That's gorgeous.
This is really nice and like sweet, and it just goes just in the right places.
The right flow. The right flow.
How have you been?
Very good.
It has been so long.
Yeah, too long.
Well, let me give you a little introduction because I have known Jeanette over a decade.
Yeah.
And do you know what is so crazy? Because I was thinking about this the other day, and I remember the days in my room.
You're gonna go back there? Wow.
I'm going all the way back there. And when I was thinking about it, it's like, when you apply for a job that you're just not qualified for, you have no certification for, but you just dive in.
Yeah.
That was me back then, guys. The deliverances.
Everything. She was like Mama Janice, like doing from A to Z.
God.
She had it all covered up.
But now you are a whole mom.
Yeah.
You are a whole wife. Come on, show them. Let's cheers to that.
Cheers.
I'm cheersing to that because we know what a journey it has been.
Yeah.
But before we get into that, you already know, when you come on the pod, I like to do these quick fire questions.
Okay.
So I'm going to get my questions.
Ew. Not sure if I'm ready, but okay.
When I say quick fire, it's jump, 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 quick fire.
Okay.
No hesitation or you're out. Right, okay, are you ready?
Right, okay. Let's see how we go.
So, coffee or tea?
Tea.
Early bird or night owl?
Night owl.
Dogs or cats?
Dogs.
One thing you can't live without?
Food.
And what's your go-to comfort food?
Ice cream.
Summer or winter?
Summer babe.
Sweet or savory?
Sweet.
She's on it.
Oh yeah.
City life or country life?
Can I go for in between? Because
It's city life or country life?
right in between.
You're like an in-between,
Yeah.
babe. Yeah, I don't blame you because the city life is like nice, but also like the quietness.
Yeah, at the same time.
At the same time,
Yeah,
it
me.
is nice. Well, thank you. You actually did quite well because some of the people that come on here, they're like, but you did good. So
What can I say? Cheers to that. That's it, Mama.
Before we get into it, because I like to go in, I like to go deep.
If I know you well, yes, you do.
Yes, and the pod really is just about sharing the stories, the testimonies, what you've been through, how you've overcome them. We all have a story to tell, and you never know, it might save a life. So I like to have openness, transparency. And this is a big table, so we're gonna lay it all on here.
Good.
And also we've got a surprise because we've got some nibbles and food coming our way.
I'm not gonna say no to that one.
Okay, now. So whilst we wait on the food to come, let's start with this. What's been one of your most pivotal moments in your life?
Wow. She said one. Because I'm sitting here, my brain is going. Tick, 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 tick. Shall I go for?
It's a lot.
Yeah, I go for marriage.
Yes.
What do you think? Marriage?
Marriage.
Yeah, marriage.
Marriage. And we're gonna need to let them know why, because you went through a season.
Yeah.
You went through a lot of seasons. And one thing that I love actually about Jeanette is you have a strength that is undeniable.
Wow.
One that is beyond human imagination. So I want you to talk a little bit about where you get that strength from. But tell us about why you married. What happened? What was your love life like?
Well, it's not it's not so much about the love life.
Yes.
It's the background that I've come from as a person, and all I've known from every single man was rejection.
Ooh.
And
Woo!
so because
I felt that.
and so because I had been rejected by even my father.
Wow.
You know, now having somebody to call mine who is not rejecting me.
Mommy.
Yes, mommy. Yes, mommy. Who's not rejecting me, wants me for me, and genuinely not expecting anything back in return.
Yeah.
He wants me for me.
Yeah.
And I feel like for so many years, I had searched and searched for it, and it seemed like
It was just never there. Like in a desert island.
girl.
Wow.
But even when he came, because I had only known rejection, I couldn't believe that it was real.
Real. And how do you recognize it when all you've known is rejection?
That's where God came in.
Yeah.
That's where God came in. Because just before he came, I had come out of a very toxic relationship.
Wow.
And so I got to the point where it was like, God, is just me and you now, nothing else.
Yeah.
You are enough for me. In fact, I had to learn that I am enough, that I don't need all the extras that I thought I needed to make me feel whole. And so when I got to that place of just me and God and being satisfied within that, yeah, he brought
He
brought him through.
Yeah, you know, the cherry on top.
Literally, because even when he came, I was just like, no,
Yeah.
fear, insecurity, all sorts comes.
Yeah.
You know.
And you know, they always say like the hurt people.
Word.
And it's just like you're saying, because all you had known is rejection. So even when love came, it's like you kind of project that rejection
to it.
back on.
But the Lord showed me. He took me through like a little season whereby he allowed me to see where it was a thing whereby either I got rejected or I rejected.
Wow.
Yeah. So I had to begin to get on my knees and say, God, deal with it from the root.
Yeah.
And so even when my now husband came, I was ready to reject because I'm like, this seemed too good to be true. You're just gonna mess up with me like everybody else. But one thing that really caught me about him is the fact that he stayed. No matter what I did, he stayed.
Wow.
And he showed me that he was in it for the long run.
Yeah.
And so of course,
And
God gave
in
me.
it for you.
He was in it for me. He chose me. Oh, girl, it's the best feeling in the whole wide world. I'm not gonna lie to anybody. When you find that person who literally ticks all the right buttons, because yeah. Anyways, another conversation for another day. Yes, mommy. But God had to give me a dream because I was in a season of consecration, and He gave me a dream, and it was from that dream that I had to now step back and say, you know what, God, I'm choosing to put aside my insecurities, my fears, meaning the fear of rejection. And allow you take me through this process of embracing this love that I have never. I know you love me, God.
Yes.
But can a man love me this way and it's for real? And God had to tell me, yes,
And
baby.
you have to feel safe in it as well.
Yeah.
Okay, there's so much to unpack.
Too
Oh
much.
my gosh, oh my
Too
gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. I want to go back a little bit because
Of
you
course.
mentioned the rejection, because we have to deal with the root sometimes.
Yeah.
And you mentioned your father. You experienced that rejection with your dad.
Yeah.
What was your foundation like? Talk to us about your foundation. You know, when you was experiencing that rejection from your dad, what was your relationship like? What did that rejection look like?
Okay.
Talk to us a little bit about that.
So before I explain, because as far as I know, I had grown up with my mother in Africa.
Yeah.
And then because of the war, my dad brought me to England.
And she's a Liberian babe.
I'm a Liberian.
Come on.
Oh, my LIBP, yeah. And so my dad brought me here, and I had known my dad as my family here.
Yeah.
Of course, I go into the whole partying lifestyle,
Okay,
doing my
thing. Doing your thing.
And basically, my dad was okay with it because I still dance, but I wasn't like a proper dancer those times.
Yes.
And I made a lot of money from it, and my dad loved it because I used to go on different tours and stuff like that.
Okay, so you was like a professional.
Dancing person, yes. But the ball turned when I gave my life to Jesus.
Okay.
And my dad was like, where's my girl that I know to be, partying,
So
doing
did
all
that
those.
change then? So because you have that gift, that talent, like you're a dancer.
Yeah.
So I take it then you was using it for, obviously not for God, you for something else.
Yes.
So then when that changed, so when Christ came to you, did you lose some of that gift? Like did you lose? Like did you, for that path that you was going, or was it completely different? Like what was that transition like?
I think for me, God had taught me what holiness is now that I'm in His kingdom. And I think the passion for dance was instilled within me, if that makes sense. So I came to a point where I was like, okay, God, I don't want to dance this promiscuous kind of way, perverted kind of way, seductive kind of way, I now want to dance for your kingdom. And it was just a day where I remember just in church and I began to dance liturgical dance and prophetic dancing and all that stuff.
This one, she's a warrior, okay?
And that was basically how, the shift from one, sort of dancing to the next, from the kingdom of darkness to the kingdom of light kind of dance kind of thing, and God did it that way. But going back to my father, he couldn't understand why I would forsake all of what he knew me to be engaged in to now all of a sudden wanting to spend more of my time in church and doing church things. So that was where the wedge came in between my dad and myself. And he said, you know what, since you cannot let go of this whole church business, get out. Yeah, so that was.
So was your relationship before that, was it good? Like, was you close?
Before I came to England, I never really knew my dad.
Okay.
When I came to England, that was when I began to know my dad.
Yeah, but it was short-lived.
Yes, very short-lived because I got saved and then
he was like,
bye. And I think the painful aspect of this is the insult that came with it.
Really?
Yeah, the insult. My dad said stuff like, if you ever walk on the same path of me, I will spit on you. Nobody could, because he was angry. And I had to endure that. But the good thing with God, when you encounter His love, you are able to love even those that are difficult to love, if that makes sense. So I will call my dad and tell him, Happy Christmas, and he will insult me, but I will say, I love you, over and over again. So,
and how old was you then?
Roughly, I was 17, 18.
Oh my God, so he kicked you out at 17, 18.
Yeah.
And you were still like, I love you, Dad.
Yeah.
I'm going to call you on your birthday, Christmas, whenever.
That's it.
So where did you move to at that time? Did you have other family, or did you just...
No, he's my only family in England, so I had to squat to whatever friend that will have me squat at theirs.
Wow.
And what's funny, it was like 6 months each, and then like I'll have to move on.
So this is where rejection now, this is taking its roots through these things.
But even from conception, I was rejected. So my mother had my brother.
Yeah.
Out of wedlock, and that was a very painful experience for her.
Yeah.
So when she became pregnant for me, she tried to get rid of me.
Right.
Yeah. So no matter what she tried, I stayed.
Didn't work.
Yeah. Because of everything she tried, and it was also during the peak of the war, I came out very premature.
Yeah.
So they tried to get rid of me in order to move on with life, but yeah.
I mean, you have a whole purpose, honey. So you cannot kill purpose.
You cannot kill purpose.
You cannot kill
Word.
purpose.
You can say that again, mommy.
Oh, come on. Wow, you have really endured. And I think this is why this episode and having you on was just, it kind of wells up tears, because I kind of know some of the journey that you've been through. And I think when I look at you, it's almost like you embody God's mercy, God's grace, and it's like His kisses over you. Especially when you mentioned with the marriage, it's almost like, I'm not only going to deliver you and bring you out, but I'm going to shower you. And
Isaiah 54, that's my scripture.
Come on, girl.
Yeah.
And so it's a beautiful story, and I think it carries so much hope. Because going from rejection, from when, from before, when you was in your mother's womb, to now meeting, when did you get married?
I got married in 2021, June.
Girl, how many years is that from when you was born to 2021? You lot did the maths, yeah?
It's a very long time. I was 30. Let's just say 30.
It is a very long time
30,
to go through
because
that.
I was born 91, so
Yeah.
2021, yeah. 30 years old. I got
Wow.
married. Yeah.
So what's your relationship with your dad? How did you know,
I think
overcome
my dad genuinely wanted me to show him that I was heading somewhere in life.
Yeah.
So because he had taken me out of Africa, he had this big dream for me. And so, but what he failed to understand was that this child you've taken out of Africa, there's a language barrier.
Yeah.
She doesn't understand any of the language the new people speak.
Yeah.
So I now had to go through 3 to 4 years. And bearing in mind, I was in year 4. I just passed
When you
year
came.
4 in Africa.
Yeah.
And then I was sent straight to year 7. So about 4 years of education already, I don't understand the language. And then I'm putting all the bottom sets, but he's expecting a lawyer and a doctor.
Ooh. Because you know the education in Africa and here is completely
different thing, especially if you're in a war zone. So that means I wasn't even getting any education, in and out. So I come here, there's a whole new system, and I'm expected to grab. So my dad really had hopes for me, but it didn't quite work out the way he had expected. So it was that pain and that frustration that caused him to respond. So because the Lord had revealed this to me, I was able to respond from a responsible...
different perspective.
Yes. So then I knew that I had to set on a journey of showing my dad that, okay, I may not have gone the way you wanted me to go, but there is still purpose. There is still hope. You know, he thought I was going to be, he would call me useless. You're going to give birth, all this, before, all sorts he would say. But everything he said was the complete opposite.
Bouncing off.
Yeah.
Bouncing off.
I remember that when I got my first job, I said, Papa, I want to take you out for lunch. He was like, what? I was like, yeah, I want to take you out. I even took a gift. He was blown away by that. So the good thing with God is that when you come to know him, he makes sure that the life or the road that you take, it helps those that may not know the right way to go, if that makes sense. I don't know if that's the best English to use. But anyway, so my dad was able to see the light through
your action and your obedience.
That's it.
Because if you were not obedient and you was like, I'm a teenager, I'm gonna lash out, and that's not to say that everybody has to react this way, because you have a very key ingredient here. Exactly. But from the age of like 17 to be able to walk with such grace and love towards someone that just completely tears you down all the time. Your father who's meant to be your head, your protector, your everything, your covering. And it's almost like, no, if you're gonna take this route, then be gone from me.
Be gone from me.
Like,
the only family in England. The only family.
The only family.
Yeah, basically. And the thing is as well, with my dad, I think he had never been shown love. He lost his dad at a young age. So for him, my dad had never told me he loved me. I had to teach my dad how to say I love you and all those things.
It's crazy because I don't know, do you feel like a lot of men kind of do suffer with that because they've never experienced maybe that fatherhood or that love in their foundation? So the way that they react or the way they're disciplined or the way that they treat their kids, it's not that they don't love them, it's just that's
what they know.
That's all they know.
That's what they know. I had to learn that, and in that I was able to show mercy. Was it painful? It was very painful. Were the days I felt...
I was gonna say, because you went through it, and I think you carried it.
I did carry it.
To the point where it was killing you.
You can say that again.
And there wasn't so much output in terms of, like you said, you didn't have family here, your dad was rejecting you. So you was almost like, you go in a pit and you come out, and you go in a pit and you come out, and you fought for your life.
Like a lost little sheep, just like...
But you held on, because sometimes people don't hold on.
Well, because I had supportive family, who are not biological family, such as yourself, and the lovely church that I was in. You guys held me. Were there days that, like you rightly said, that I spilled and I screamed and shouted and did the most? Yes. that was just a bleeding child that just needed nurturing and love. But I'm glad that I had people such as yourself and so many others that were around me to stand the journey with me. And today, the woman that I've become, to God be all the glory.
To God be all the glory. We're gonna cheers to
Cheers to that.
Is it good?
Real
It's so good. And I'm trying. It's so good today as well.
I'm trying to control myself because usually when I go out, I drink this thing in 1 minute.
It's so good.
It's so sweet.
No, but thank you so much for sharing that, and again for having so much transparency.
Oh, no.
And we're literally just like touching the surface, you know, because there's so much and we can't capture everything in one episode. But it's nice to hear the foundation so we can understand where you've come from. You know, coming from a war zone. To come to the UK, not knowing the language, it's like a foreign land, and then being kicked out, and then having to go through that 30 years of trying to find yourself. When you looked in the mirror, what did you see, you know, then before Christ kind of revealed all of these things? What was you seeing when you was looking?
I think for some reason, the sort of personality that God has given me has been quite a very innocent kind of mentality. Some people perhaps have a wider knowledge to really make sense in particular situations. Whereas with me, I viewed it from such an innocent light that I knew I was hurt, but I didn't really understood what was going on or the depth of it, if that makes sense. Because like I said, there was a lot of lack in terms of my understanding because of all the delay in education and all those kinds of stuff, right? So for me, even though there was a situation going on, I was still hopeful. I was still wanting life to happen for me. I was still believing that, you know, there's gonna be I didn't know when or how or what's gonna happen, but I knew like so long as life in me,
that I'm still gonna keep going.
Basically,
something good is gonna come out of me.
For example, say college after secondary school, college for instance. I wanted to go to college, and because the mentality was so low.
I put it in better
word. You know, I had friends around me who would say, you know, strive for higher. I couldn't see myself striving for higher. I wanted to do everything from the bedrock to the top kind of thing. Because if I'm gonna make it, I have to start very little and stuff like that. So I just my mindset was take each day at a time. That was, I don't know where it came, I guess it has to be God, but that's just how I've always been. I've looked at life from a very innocent perspective, not wanting grand
or like,
so if something came, for example, I went through college, to my surprise, like literally it came out really well. Then university, I remember calling my dad, I've accomplished college, I've done college, you know. He's on the phone saying absolutely nothing. I need help to get, you know, finances to get me into uni because student finance, I ain't got no money for you. So I had to cut that uni journey right there. And I said to God, I said, God, if I'm gonna go university, that which my earthly father is not able to do for me, you gotta do it. And about 5 years later, God ensured that I won a £45,000 scholarship at the University of Northampton.
Come on!
He paid it a honey. So that's to say, yo, in this life, you ain't got to think too much when you got God. Just let God think for you. Trust Him and that's it.
That's so true, though, because sometimes we always think about like tomorrow, oh, I don't know if I can like do this, or worry about today.
That's it. Let tomorrow worry about itself.
Let tomorrow worry about itself.
Be at peace.
Exactly.
It's not as simple as said, sis, as you know. But we take it.
We go through it. We go through it. Do you know what? I'm smiling. My mouth is hurting. It's too good. I'm like, oh, where do I go? Where do I go? Take it from there. But no, I'm so thankful, and I really hope that, you know, by hearing Jeanette's story, you can see that there is hope. You know, don't worry about tomorrow, because you are a purpose.
Trust
God. You know. Let's talk a little bit about your attachment style. And the reason I talk about your attachment style is because we spoke about the rejection, and now you've met your husband, and there was what they call it, some frogs you had to kiss. Before you
Too many frogs.
Before you get to the king.
Oh, honey. Oh, honey. If I met my Prince Charming, I'd have kissed loads of frogs.
All the frogs. And do you feel like that was because you was like longing for something?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, you see, I turned my affection to all the wrong people. And one thing I know about me is that I don't love small.
Whoa.
I love big.
Okay, come on.
As you see me, like people say, my personality is very
Larger than life.
So, you know, I'm extroverted. I'm at the far end of it, you know, of the spectrum. So, you know, I tend to give my all.
Yeah.
Even if the person is giving less than
0.00%.
minus 100, I'm still giving
You're like
4K. Everything is coming into the, you know, and yeah, it was very painful.
Yeah.
Because
what was you looking for? What exactly is it that you
Sissy
wanted from them?
to be wanted. I think that was the key thing. I didn't feel like anybody wanted me. I felt like I was a problem. There was a huge problem with me. Number one, again, like I mentioned, my personality is a lot to take on with someone like myself, especially if you meet a lot of introverted people. I mean, dealing with a lot of introverts. It's now that I know this, I'm sharing with you. Before, what do I know about introvert, extrovert, and stuff like that? You know, but they made me feel like there was this huge thing that is wrong with you. And I'm just like, you know, there was one day someone said to me, said, Jonette, because there was this huge cloud over me, like you mentioned earlier on. Even if I want to come out here, there's something like pushing me down. Like, you know, and you run to this person, would you have me? No, you're not good enough for me. Here, no. Girl.
What is it about me that you do not want?
And I'm looking at myself, I'm like,
this snarkle me.
Are you not seeing what I'm seeing?
What is it? Are you okay? Are you blind?
You know what, yeah? I guess those times, yeah, a diamond, but yet the coal was still covering.
Yeah.
Because one thing I learned over the years is the way I spoke.
Yeah.
That really caused people to withdraw. Because all the aggression, all the pain.
They just didn't understand it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So all of that, even the slightest of mistake, I was ready to fight.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So all that pain I was carrying with me was literally, I was on the defense all the time. All the time.
And is that because you're kind of like, I'm ready for you to, you can leave any time, so I need to barricade myself?
You know what's funny? That experience didn't come until years after, because what it was that I kept expecting this person is going to stay for me. Like I was like, this is it. Like like I told you, I have such an innocent mindset towards everything. Everybody I met, you're mine.
Yeah.
And you're staying, but they never stayed. Yeah. And there was a cut again.
Yeah.
And then the next one, a cut again. To the point where I was just like,
I'm done.
Yo.
Yeah.
So.
And what was like your longest relationship then?
Was it any of it a relationship, babe? It was never really a relationship. It was all in my head.
What do you call it then? Like,
it was in my head, love. It was sitting in my brain. For real.
You know when you meet somebody, you plan everything in your head and they have no idea.
Your sister be cooking, doing all the most, and the person looking like, you're just my sister. Do I see as a sister? Yeah, but there was one person who loved me so much. I'm not gonna say name.
Okay.
But I was following someone else.
Okay. Yeah.
And then it was later on when I then realized it was too late.
Oh, it's always like that. It's the guy that we don't want.
We don't want it.
It's the ones that always want us. They will do the most.
The most.
And it's like they chasing us and we're chasing
someone
else.
The wrong person.
And we learn the hard way.
Very hard, sis. The hard way. Because I'm telling you, these wounds have only just healed about a year ago or so, because I've been bleeding even when I got back. You know, when I met my husband, he was pursuing me. I was real with him from the start. I said, this woman that you're coming after, I will be honest with you, she's a broken mess.
Wow.
So if you're coming, you best know how you're coming.
Yeah.
Because that's what's up. I ain't gonna pretend to you that I've got everything together. There's a lot of junk here that I need Jesus to still be helping me with it.
Wow.
So if you're gonna be stepping here, know
what you're stepping into.
And he was willing.
Oh,
So,
well,
clearly-
we're gonna touch on a little bit of his, you know, his love. How hungry are you? Okay, let's dip it a little bit. Okay, let's tuck in.
tuck in.
This looks really, really good.
Oh, girl, you're making me glad I came. Come
Well,
on,
you know, I have to look after my guests now. It's not all the time, by the way. So let's
Well, that's
see.
nice. Our chips is real good. That's making me happy inside.
Do you ever do like the eating dance?
No, mommy.
You don't you?
I'm learning from you today.
When I'm eating and it's good, it just naturally moves my body. It really, really does.
No, Jay, I'm tired.
Oh my gosh, I hate it when I'm laughing because I get teary-eyed.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
do you?
The J, you get teary.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I'm like, my eyes. How is it? Scrumdiddlicious.
I like how crunchy it is. Very moist
Same
and
with
tender in
these
the
as
middle.
well. It's like crunchy on the outside, but it's like really nice
Moist in the
and
inside.
succulent. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Wow.
I'm not a mustard person, but the way they've done it,
It's like
lit.
it's blending the flavors together.
it's beautiful.
Well, you have to like tuck in. So we are talking about love, and one thing about love is happy weight. It's a thing because it reminds me of the food. You know, when you are in a relationship, you know, you put on this nice happy weight because you're in love. You're going out. You're eating, and I'm sure because I can see how you look. You're looking like all loved up.
Oh, yes, mommy. Feeling loved up. This girl.
And I'm sure you are loved up.
He's amazing. Right, so
I can see
for
the
you
smile coming already.
For you guys that don't know this, hubby's called John. I'm Jonette, and my little baby is Jonelle. So we're keeping the J going.
Oh.
Yeah, so no, John he's an amazing man. His character is one in a billion.
So how did John come about? Because it was a journey.
It was a journey.
Yeah.
I met. So I started my master's on the master's course that we met. He came in late, so I just saw this guy walking, like bouncing in the class, and I was like, "Ooh, who's that handsome?"
Were you meant to be studying then?
I was no. What? Things happen in this life. You know,
Oh my god.
So I was just like, oh, this is nice. Nice little eye candy to see, isn't it? On a lovely Monday morning. It's lovely. And so,
Oh my god.
And yeah, that's how we, well, by this time, I saw him first.
Okay.
He didn't really. It was through a mutual uni friend that we really got to know each other and started talking. And it's because I was planning a birthday for this mutual friend that you know, I went to invite, because he and John was sat together. So I went and I said, "Hi, I'm Jonette." And he said, "Oh yeah, my name is John." I was like, "Your name is John? My name is Jonette. Wow."
Oh my god, I can imagine. It's like boom, the door is open.
All the
This is my
fireworks,
time
like,
to-
you know, like, but honestly, there was nothing.
It was like natural.
Yeah, natural, like, but it was just a funny thing to realize, like, we share like the same name kind of thing. It was later on when he was sat down with his friend, and I think when God sends your partner, they always carry something for you. Yeah.
Yes.
And so because you know of the health condition I battled with until last year, and so because I was always sick during uni, so John was a backbone for me.
Wow.
So I remember the very first assignment, I didn't pass it.
Wow.
So I remember he decided to sit with me and our mutual friend to help me with the assignment. And that was when he began to share his life story.
Yeah.
And girl, honestly, I'm glad I made this statement, because that was when the light bulb in John's brain went ding. Wife material. You know? Literally, he was just talking about his life story, and I remember saying, by this time I was in my toxic relationship.
Okay.
Yeah. I said, you know what? If I was single, you would be the perfect man for me.
You said that to him?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And that was when the light bulb went, ding. He began to pursue.
Wow.
John
he
did
was
not hold.
waiting for that green light.
Honey.
And sometimes you don't even know with guys, you know, like you don't know if they like.
You don't know if they're checking you or nothing. You don't know.
Are you checking? Are you not checking? But you gave him that green light.
Honestly, I didn't think he was thinking about me. He seemed like such a focused, because he's a doctor, he's a dentist. So he just seemed so booked.
In his own world.
Yeah, consumed. So I didn't think, and of course I wasn't even looking because I was already in a relationship as toxic as it was. So there was nothing, but the way he did not hold back.
Yeah.
He was like, I like you.
Really?
Like legit. John did not hold back.
When you told him then or like later?
He knew, everybody knew I was in a relationship. Like, you know what I'm like, my kind of characteristic anyways. He didn't hold back. He said, I like you. I was like, yeah, I'm in a relationship. He said, yeah, okay, I understand, but I like you.
That doesn't change
it
the fact
doesn't
that
change
I like
the thing.
you.
And he pursued me, like, and I got angry. And I told him to stay the hell.
Was that because you just didn't recognize the kind of the love, the pursuit? Like, what is this thing?
It was just
too
like
much.
I was getting to the point where I just couldn't deal with anymore.
Yeah, it's too much of a risk, and it's too much like I'm done
kind of thing.
Like, leave me.
Yeah, but you know, one thing he did that really struck me because of my health again. Whenever I was sick, and I called John, or he knew about it, he would make time for me.
Yeah.
Even if I was in the hospital, he will make time. He will cancel a shift to come. Even if I didn't have a penny.
Big up John, big up John, big up John. Come on, come on, come on, come on.
He will give, even if it was his last penny, he will sacrifice that for me. And there was a moment in my life where we sat down together and I realized I don't know how to love. I was a stone. This person is pouring all this love onto me and I didn't know how to give it back to him.
Yeah, but
and
he didn't, it doesn't matter to him.
It didn't matter to him.
Because
he was gone. Man was like, I'm coming after you,
I'm coming for you. I don't care
what you do.
That doesn't change
Honey,
what I'm going to do.
John will help me with all my assignment because either I was in the hospital or something, he helped me through the masters.
Wow.
No joke. And so I then decided in my heart, if you miss out on this person, you're a fool.
Yeah.
Because this is what you've been looking for all along. And
yeah, it is right there
it's
in front
right
of
there
you.
just because you don't feel that all the goosebump that you've been wanting, but you can't because of all the gunk that's there, you know?
Yeah.
And so I had to trust God on the journey and say, you know what, God, I'm willing to put aside my fears and insecurity, and I'm willing to trust. But by this time, the toxic guy had gone.
Okay, first of all, how did he leave?
Because I had to put my foot.
As well?
We were together for 6 months.
Okay.
Before I met John.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I had to literally put my foot
I'm
down.
looking at the toxic guy.
Yeah, the toxic guy. He was gone. Like literally, I was happy that he was out.
Oh my God.
He caused me too much pain, and so yeah. I don't even know what to say now. I've lost my train of thought.
And my cheek.
Yeah.
I can't stop smiling. But I am just, I don't know. It's just like he did it. God did it.
God did
Didn't
it.
He?
Who am I?
Did it.
Sis, you knew
Could
me.
you ever imagine, like, now you're married and what? Tell me,
how am I even married?
When you had your wedding day and you in that moment and you putting on your dress and everyone's around you,
it's
you're
still not
looking at
reality.
yourself.
It's still not reality. I feel like I'm just in like this little bubble that God has like wrapped me in.
Yeah.
And I feel safe in it, and I know I'm okay.
Yeah.
Because the past is the past now.
It's gone.
Yeah. So.
And it doesn't define you.
Wow.
It never even did.
Word. I say it took me a long time to get here.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that I got there. Don't get me wrong. There's still a long way to go. But
it's the
at least
residue.
That's it, mommy.
Because when the residues are there, it takes work. Now you have to do that work.
And I'm willing. I think that's the most important part. That I'm willing to do the work to make sure that the woman I am supposed to become in her fullness.
Yeah. A whole woman.
A whole woman. I'm a wife and a mother. So what else?
Oh my gosh. And Janelle coming into the picture.
Yeah, she's my treasure.
She's so adorable. I
yeah.
remember when I first saw her, we was in Primark, I was like, oh
They grow
my
too quick though, not gonna
God.
lie.
They grow too quick, but isn't it a
quick.
blessing?
So it's a blessing,
Especially
it's a privilege,
because you
an
spoke
honor.
about your health, because I know you really went through it.
Yeah.
It's a whole other episode.
I mean, I was diagnosed with Crohn's disease, again, because of all the stress that I had undergo because due to the journey I had taken.
Yeah.
Stress produces a lot of acid within the gut.
Okay.
And that would erode the gut. And so I personally believe this is what
was the root
of the situation, the severe stress I underwent. And so to my surprise,
your gut health was...
It was a mess. I couldn't eat anything. I had no energy. I was like, how can I be what?
Because you had, was it some like
Crohn's,
like
Crohn's disease.
Yeah.
So it's a lifelong disease that they said cannot be healed. But by the mercy of God, April last year, because I got severely sick after I gave birth to Janelle.
Wow.
Yeah, I had deteriorated severely. Like I had to go back Africa to home to get nursed because my husband's working.
What happened? Like how did you?
I think what really broke me was the fact that I felt within myself that the people around me that I call family, they will come and I'll pull in my most vulnerable moment, because I had a C-section for Janelle.
Yeah.
In my most vulnerable moment, I felt like I wasn't receiving help or care from any of them.
Yeah.
And so I grieve, because at the end of the day, when you give birth, your body's going through a lot already.
Yeah.
So any other little thing is a trigger.
Yeah.
You get it? And also with the underlying condition that is triggered by stress, I was just a mess.
Yeah.
I couldn't breastfeed my baby for long because I couldn't eat anything. I was losing weight by the day. And so my husband looked at me, he said, you gotta go home for help. You can't stay here like this. The baby needs help as well. So I had to fly back home, and my mother, by the mercy of God, she was able to nurse me back to normalcy again, and me and baby.
And that is the power of sometimes community. I think that's what sometimes we don't have here.
Yeah.
Everyone is so busy doing their own thing. When you give birth, it's like, it's your child. But when you're back home, you rest. That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to rest. Everyone looks after the baby. Yeah, and looks after you. You just feed the baby. You focus on getting well. And you didn't have family here.
And from April last year, because I traveled in February. So by April, I had already begun to pick up. So from April to the end of last year, I didn't have a single episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I remember, into the new year, me and my husband, we held our hands to pray into the new year. And I said, God, like this year actually has been a very tough year.
Yeah.
But yet I can see it's also been good. But I really wanted you to do a shebang for me. Like I wanted my shebang.
Come on.
And the Holy Spirit rebuked me.
Okay.
He said, baby, have you noticed you're not struggling in pain anymore in your gut? I have healed you.
Wow.
Honey, all kinds
I can imagine you.
From 2016 to 2023, honey, girl, please. I danced, and since then up to now, I was weighing 45 kg at my age. And imagine, I'm as tiny and diddy as I am. I was a twig. Like my neck had wells, for real. So and now I weigh... That's the reality of the situation.
Oh God.
And I have a baby depending upon me and a husband. You know what I'm trying to say? And literally now I can say with such joy, I now weigh 64 kg. That's the mercy of God again.
Mercy of God.
Mercy of God. So mommy, you're right. Some of us were just testimony walking going. It is what it is.
Oh my gosh. And you went back home and, thank God, Mom looked after you, came back. And did you feel like a difference when you came back? Did you feel like you needed that? Whatever like happened in between that transition, it was spiritual as well as the physical.
My whole life, sis, it's like from birth, God, I just decided this one is mine. Every step, yes, the journey is going to be difficult, but I'm going to be there with her.
You,
Even with the marriage. My mother was like, no, you can't get married to a Nigerian. You can't get married over there without us. All kinds of stuff. My dad was like, no. And I said to God, I said, you got to speak to them if this is your will. And my mother got on the phone to me about a week later. She said, the Lord said to me that your life belongs to him. I may want to give you an extravagant, lavish, big wedding because of the wonderful daughter you are and have been. But God is saying that even his son Jesus was born in a manger.
Yeah.
So I need to have rest. So when she said that, I was like, thank you, Jesus, for speaking to my mother.
Wow.
Peace.
Ooh, it is a lot.
Yes, you see.
It's his mercy.
He's merciful. I mean, my name is Jonette, the graciousness of God. That's what
Come
the name means.
on. And you have
I've
definitely
experienced the
experienced
grace.
God's grace in your life. And I just want to thank you really for coming on and just sharing your story.
It's a privilege and honor, sis.
Because I know sometimes people, they don't see his steps, you know, and you sometimes have to look back. And when you do look back, you see that he's been with you.
Yeah.
Whatever you've been through, he's been there. And the least that we can do is share his goodness.
Yeah. To uplift other people.
Yeah, exactly.
Encourage them.
And also, I feel like it keeps him alive.
Yeah.
You know, when we echoing what he's done in our lives.
Word.
You know, we echoing his goodness. It's keeping him alive, you know. And that's our duty. So
Okay. It is what it is. As stewards of the Lord.
As stewards of the Lord.
Yes, it is.
Well, I hope you enjoyed this little brunch kind of
It's been
thing.
amazing,
And it's been
sis.
really, really nice to have you.
Been amazing.
And again, yeah, John, if you watch this, yeah, which you better be watching this. Okay, we salute you over here because not a lot of men.
Yes, my love.
Because it's so much commitment to do that, you know. I've spoken on previous episodes about when you're sick, you know, how committed would you be to someone who is sick, you know, because we live in a selfish world.
Very selfish world.
And we can't blame people, it's just the way it is. But for someone to say, you know what, you're sick, I'm going to be there, I'm going to cancel my shift, I'm going to give you my last money, I'm going to do what I can
For you.
For you.
Yeah.
And I don't even know you like that much, but there's something about you that
he saw that other people couldn't see, and that's okay.
It's good.
Yeah, it's good. It's his own blessing.
If I close the other eyes, it's good, because imagine if he was in the wrong hands. You know, it's part of your destiny, like you said before. He saw something and he carried something that was a part for you, for your destiny. So you can't just be mingling with anybody, and I think you've definitely shown that with your life.
Indeed.
Ooh.
Yeah. Honestly, John, yeah. I mean, look at our name, for crying out loud. It was supposed to be, man. Forget it. Nothing much else to say. It is what it is. He's a good man. John.
Janelle. No, I love it.
Yeah, because I remember, like, just quickly that when there was one point I really broke down because of my health, and I called John. I said, I know you don't have the answers, but I just want you to know that I'm not in a good place. I can't do this anymore. And he was literally like, if I have to find money wherever to buy your flight ticket so you can go back and get help. Because it's not one or two times he's had to send me back home for help. He's had to sacrifice a lot to send me back home. And tickets to Africa, Liberia, 1,000 plus.
Man, let's
and
not
he
even
would
talk
do
about
it
this.
over and over. It's easy. This is the kind of thing John does on a daily basis. Because he loves me.
He loves me. Because he loves me. Well, we love you too, and you know I love you.
I love you.
You're like my
sis.
My sis. It's like, when I think about you then, it's like you're so young, little, but now you're like a grown woman. And you're glowing. And I thank you so much for coming on. And I hope you guys enjoy the episode. Thank you so much, Jeanette, for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Definitely, I'll be having you back on because we've got so much to talk about.
I look forward to it.
Please do subscribe to the channel. Make sure that you listen to the podcast on all the podcast channels. So thank you so much, and see you in the next episode. Bye.